is the most violent child that Supernanny has ever faced.
Mummy doesn't want to talk to you.
Stop it! You're here, he's not. That's normal.
Aaron, for goodness sake!
Hello, you gorgeous donut. Imagine birthing a child which makes your life a living hell 24/7 with their horrific behaviour which threatens your life on a daily basis. And your only option to somehow salvage your life is inviting a random woman who wears a suit 24/7 to come in and change your entire life around. Well, that's the entire concept of the show we're breaking down today, Supernanny. Honestly, it's wild. If you haven't seen it, you're in for a treat. Supernanny spends a week with the family and attempts to reform the evil child and make sure that the parents go on to have happier lives after she leaves. Now, in a lot of the Supernanny episodes we've covered, Supernanny has been successful. However, she has never faced a child like the one she's facing in the episode we're breaking down today, and I've never seen anything like it before. This child is known as the worst child to ever grace the show. Not my words. He's one of the first children in the entirety of Britain to ever be expelled from nursery, and I feel like that alone tells you all you need to know. He got expelled for threatening the lives of the other children, you know, lovely lads. We're going to see how bad his behaviour is, how Supernanny's usual tactics to deal with problem children are deemed useless against this child. We're going to see how the mother is completely powerless, and it's actually really sad because it seems to be taking years off the end of her life. We're going to see his father's drastic attempts at trying to fix him, and we're also going to see if the parents are actually strong enough to stay together, because the preview of this episode shows that that could be in doubt. So get comfy, because we have never covered a Supernanny episode like this ever. So the episode begins with us meeting the parents, who are called Chris and Nikki. They have two children, one called Mackenzie, who's 15 months, and his older brother Cameron, who is 4. Now, just by the name, you can probably tell which one's a bit evil. Of course, Cameron is the problem child. Giving her a good name, son. Come on. It's funny because he's called Cameron, he's the bigger brother, and he's also the problem child. When I first discovered this episode, I was like, oh my god, they've made a biopic of my life and I'm not even dead yet. This is incredible. Nikki says that Cameron's antics are on the verge of splitting up the entire family, and every single morning she dreads waking up.
I don't know what to do with it.
He controls the whole family.
I mean, I would dread waking up if, like, you know, as soon as I open my eyes, I'm in the Hunger Games. You know, you'd be like Katniss Everdeen. You'd be like, okay, what is happening today? Is it a storm? Is it wild beasts trying to eat my face? No, it's just my own child trying to kill me. This is really sad, though, because obviously having a child and a family is meant to be one of the most fulfilling things, so when it doesn't actually end up that way, that must be really horrific, especially for the mother. Nikki then goes on to say how bad Cameron's outbursts actually are.
He can bite, kick, spit, hit, slam doors.
Already, we're only a minute and 30 in, and I'm a little bit worried. If I was Supernanny, I would be coming in with like a full riot shield gear on, even a bulletproof vest, okay? I don't know what's gonna go down here. I don't know what this child is capable of. Has anyone seen Son of the Mask? Kind of reminds me of the plot of that. His dad, Chris, often just tries to restrain Cameron. He often locks him in his bedroom, because if he doesn't do this, Cameron just leaves the house. Now, like I mentioned in the intro, Cameron obviously has been asked to leave nursery because of how he treats the other children, threatening their life, biting them, shouting at them, punching at them. Punching at them, is that a sentence? I don't know. You can probably tell I'm quite the fighter. You better shut up, otherwise I'm going to be punching at you. Who's scared now? Yeah, you better walk off, right? I'm going to be walking at you soon. Works every time, especially to small children. You know, they really fall for that. I don't threaten kids. Did you see the venom in his face there? Okay. I love that he looks at his dad like, what? I didn't do anything wrong. So if he hasn't just, you know, nearly just give this little girl concussion.
I am quite worried that he's going to be excluded from every school in this borough.
Could you imagine, you know, it's the first day of reception, like all of the parents are dropping their kids off, and then you just see like you know, Nikki and Chris turn up. You'd be like, no, not today. Of all days, surely. Better not be on my daughter's table. I'm telling you that for nothing, love. I do always wonder, like, why families decide to go on Supernanny, because obviously this is going to be broadcasted to the nation, and not only the nation, like everyone in your community is definitely going to know about this. So if you're trying to get your child, who seems to be quite violent, into different schools, surely, you know, going on on this show's not going to help that case. But then I do understand that these people really are, at their wits' end, and they'll take any opportunity to fix the situation that they can get. Now, whenever we cover Supernanny episodes, you know that I'm very empathetic to how these children act. There's always normally a reason for this. They don't just, they're not just born evil and act this way, like, out of no reason. And I believe this to be true with Cameron, as we actually get a little bit more background information about the family, which could lead to the reason why Cameron acts the way he does. As when Cameron was 2.5 years old, he actually lost his younger brother Josh to cot death.
Things like that teach you that there isn't always a tomorrow, which is probably why I don't discipline him as much as I should.
And honestly, I feel like this straight away turns the entire episode on its head, and it makes you feel like, if you didn't before, even more empathetic towards Nikki and her situation and Chris. Because straight away, I could just see so clearly that Nikki hasn't disciplined Cameron, because obviously she's went through one of the most traumatic experiences, anybody can go through, losing a child. So the child she has, she probably doesn't want to seem like she's ever going to hurt, Cameron's feelings. Obviously, they've got Mackenzie too. But I definitely think it's got to have an impact on the way that you discipline your children, or not discipline them in this case. And I was interested to see if, children at the age of 2.5 can actually process this sort of trauma, or if they don't really kind of take it in. I did read a lot of articles on this subject to just kind of, gain more information on the topic. And I was really surprised, as 2-year-olds really can take in this trauma. And one thing it can lead to is a change in behaviour. So if, Cameron was really well behaved before and then this happened, this explains why, because he's got all of this anger and he doesn't quite know how to process it or how to unleash it, and he kind of does this with his behaviour. That's why he kind of is always hitting. The child has clearly got so much anger about the situation but doesn't know how to express it, because they're a child. They can't even really speak at 2, or can they? I don't even know. Can 2-year-olds speak? It's not like I've got loads of younger siblings, but a 2-year-old's hardly going to be like, Mum, can I pull you for a chat? I just need to have a deep chat, get this off my chest. Mum, can I do the talking tonight, please? I just can't imagine how hard this is for Nikki and Chris, though, having Cameron act this way when they're still very clearly, coping with the trauma of losing their child, Josh. And Nikki does later on go on to confirm why she hasn't disciplined Cameron.
And everyone's always cross at him that if I wasn't there for him to give him a cuddle, then nobody would.
And this just shows how much of a nice person she is and how much she actually cares for her children. But just, that feeling that she's had to deal with, she just probably really, really wants to mother and take care of, the children she has that are alive. It's so sad. And straight away when I've heard this, I really want Supernanny to be able to turn this family around. I'm unsure if they will do, because Cameron just seems really intense. But Nikki herself says Supernanny is the last resort. This is her last chance to try and salvage our family dynamic.
Please meet you. Nice to meet you. I'm Nikki.
I'm Joe.
Hi Joe, nice to meet you. I'll have to swap hands, unfortunately.
Put your hand there.
Sorry, Joe, I'll have to swap hands. Obviously, Cameron broke me hand before you came. He knew you were coming. It's my punishment he likes to give us. Nikki and Chris are then told that Supernanny is just going to observe them, so they just need to go about their normal day, how they would if she wasn't even there. And the first thing that Supernanny picks up on is their 15-month-old Mackenzie is just stuck in the cot for 6 hours a day, which obviously is quite a lot of time. That's a prison, basically, because both the parents are solely focused on trying to chill Cameron out the whole day.
You're not climbing up there. Stop it.
What did he just slap you in the chest for?
Because I won't let him climb up there.
Because, I won't let him rip the telly off the wall. He's not really a reasonable child, as you can tell. Why did he hit you? Oh, I didn't let him burn the house down, so, he gets like this. He's a unique one, our Cameron. So weird talking. I feel like I'm talking about myself in the third person here. I do think it's wild that he spits at her, though. That is, hitting, obviously, is wild, but spit, I know it's less violent, but it's what it means. He clearly just doesn't value his mom at all, or, it doesn't seem like he does. Nikki and Supernanny, who I'm going to call Joe, because Supernanny, it just seems weird as calling her that, as if she's an Avenger, then walk Cameron to school, and I'm not exaggerating, they almost witness his death.
This is the bit that I'm worried about. Just round the bottom, it heads straight onto the main road. Wait there. No, it's not a game.
Did you see his little look to the camera, the cheeky bastard? He was like, the guy's a showman, gonna be in the new Matilda movie. Wait, that's a main road. Is he gonna stop? There's a truck. Is he gonna stop? I know this is pre-recorded, but why did me heart just stop pounding there as if something was going to go terribly wrong? That was a huge truck. That could have squished him if he just kept going. She got him at the last moment there. Jesus. It's like a goalkeeper saving a penalty in the last minute. Nobody expected that saviour. Genuinely, I'm gobsmacked at what I just seen there.
Right now, are you in control or not? Because look where your child is.
No, I'm not.
It's how casual she was there. Nah, I'm not. Nah, if you're asking, I'll hold my hands up. No, I'm not, love. As you can tell, my child is, playing on the road by himself. Does this look like control to you? I think you can answer your own question there, love. Now, I know a lot of people will be watching this thinking, this is really bad from Nikki, and it is bad. But I know a lot of parents that do go through, the loss of a child, they often kind of, feel almost blank after a certain amount of time when they're kind of, developing how to cope with the trauma. So you might be looking at her and going, how is she not stressed that a child is there? But it can really mess with your hormones and your emotions, and it can sometimes just make you feel nothing. I'm talking as if I've been through it. I haven't been through it, but this is just me of experiences I know from people around us.
Car turns round there, it's going to get you, darling. Come here. Go back round there for me.
Bro, if there is a world war, we need Cameron on the front lines. This child has no fear. Honestly, if we just go, Cameron, charge, they're gonna run. Whoever it is, they're gonna run. When Cameron's running at you, okay, just wait until he starts punching at you. Then you're in trouble. And on the topic of fighting, Cameron is honestly like a UFC fighter. I don't think even Khabib Nurmagomedov could, pin this kid.
You're a liar, Cameron. Don't kick me.
Cameron, for goodness sake!
This is just really sad. Could you imagine being in Nikki's position? I know, she hasn't disciplined him, so, it is her responsibility. But this is your life every single day. We're just watching this from the outside. We don't really feel emotion to it. She'll be so emotionally drained, and, that's probably why she's just sick, just shouting. I can see it from her point of view, even if she is in the wrong. It's also hilarious that Supernanny's just, not helping, just, well, I'm in the observing, phase. I can't step in, love. How the show works. Just gonna watch you crumble. Nikki then breaks down in tears in this little alleyway, and Joe suggests, should we just go home? There's no point taking him to nursery, because if he's acting like this now, when he gets to nursery, he's just gonna carry on and just act like that with the other children, and it's not fair on them. So they agree to get a taxi home. They can't even walk home because he's just so evil at this point. I shouldn't really use the word evil, it is a child. But even though they're getting a taxi, this doesn't fix anything, as Cameron just acts even worse.
Ow, you just kicked me right in the face! Oh, Cameron, get off!
This is, I actually feel, bad watching this. I just think it's sad because, if you walk past someone like this in the street, some people might be like, oh, man, you fucking look at that money. But then you don't know their story. You don't know what Nikki's been through, why her life is like this. So I'm always trying to be empathetic to people like this. It will be interesting as the episode progresses if Nikki can kind of, establish some authority over Cameron. Because at this point, I don't understand how Cameron is going to be turned around within 1 week, because he's gotten himself into such a position where he holds all the power in the house. How are they going to unravel this? I have no idea. Joe then invites one of Nikki's best friends around to kind of get more clarity on Nikki's mental state from a third party. And when they're all chatting outside, this is where I feel even more sorry for Nikki, and clearly Supernanny does too.
I just think that I didn't do enough for Josh. I have to do all this much more for Cameron because he died and I didn't do anything about it.
Honestly, if I wasn't just chilling with yous right now, I would be crying. Genuinely, I would be crying at that. I can feel it. I can feel it. Stop! Be a man! Please! For once in your life. She very much blames herself for what happened, to her child Josh, which obviously, this is just a horrific occurrence, and, she was powerless to what happened. But as the mother, she, obviously, she feels like her responsibility was to protect her child, and in her eyes, she feels like, she didn't, fulfill that. But you can see how much love Nikki has for her children. Obviously she shouts at Cameron because of his behaviour, but you can see how much she loves him and how much she loves Mackenzie and how much she loves Josh, which makes her a great mother, which makes her that's the one most important thing that you can give a child is love. It doesn't matter if you give them luxuries or it doesn't matter, whatever you give them, the number one thing is loving them, and that's what she gives her children. Someone like me and, you watching who hasn't been through this, I don't think we can begin to imagine the pain pain that woman feels, honestly. Like, you can kind of put yourself in that position, but you can't feel it. I honestly think something like that, you have to go through it to actually feel how bad it must be. Nikki then goes on to say that she's worried that, you know, something's going to happen to Cameron, and she's worried she's going to have to go through the same thing again, which, you know, she's been through it once, so she believes that this could happen again, which is just horrific. Like, no parent should even have to go through this once, never mind twice. The show then progresses to tea time, and when Nikki is sitting down eating her tea, Cameron just randomly comes over to her and does this.
Oh.
Dinner spaghetti bolognese, man! Oh, I drew a line. Right, when you nearly ran in front of a truck, Cameron. Okay, I was like, alright, maybe that's just a personality quirk. When you were punching your mum, alright, and you were spitting at her, I was like, okay, maybe he can change. But ruining someone's spaghetti bolognese, that's where I draw the line, fella. Evil. You don't do that to someone. It doesn't need that garnish. It's perfect as it is. Honestly, if that was my child, I'd be like, you just spat at me spaghetti bolognese, have you? There you go. Oh, it's all over your face. How do you feel now? Maybe I shouldn't be a parent. Not yet. We then get to see Chris discipline Cameron for the first time while Supernanny observes.
It's Supernanny's chance to see discipline dad style.
You disgusting boy!
You know, just punish him for having a Liverpool flag in his bedroom, you know, but the behaviour's bad as well. Ha ha, footy pants, come on. There we go. Now I feel it. Probably just pissed off like a lot of people there. Sorry, guys.
This is discipline. What is this?
This is my way of trying to tell him that his behaviour is not acceptable. I would leave him in here until he's calmed down, but it doesn't always work.
Yeah, I love it. It's like the Harry Potter technique, you know, just lock him in the room and don't let him out. Looks a treat, right? Why don't you put like bollards on his windows as well? That could possibly help, you know, just in case any flying cars try and pick him up.
I feel my blood boiling, yeah. It's like, there's no reasoning with him.
It is interesting how we hear about Chris's anger there, because, you know, Cameron obviously displays a lot of anger, and, you know, I wonder if there's like parallels between that, because obviously, you know, you do pick up certain personality traits from your family members, especially your parents. But I honestly think in the entire show's history, this is one of the most intense kind of households, just because there's so many emotions going on. It's not just a case of just they've got a child which behaves badly. It's so much deeper than that for everybody. Cameron continues to misbehave, and we then see how Nikki and Chris aren't even a team. They don't even look like they're partners at this point, as they're constantly just contradicting each other. After Chris tries to discipline Cameron, Nikki just gives him loads of kisses and cuddles and just kind of smothers him, and then they argue about that. Honestly, I don't think any of them are in the right, because none of their tactics work in the long term. They clearly both just have zero clue how to handle him.
I know you're not a very good mum. I hold my hands up to everything that I'm crap at, but you think that everything you do is right.
I really do wish that Nikki had more people in her life that can tell her that she is a good mum, because even the fact she's just said in front of her partner, I'm a bad mum, and he didn't I don't know, like even say you're not a bad mum, or you like just kind of, you know, reinforcing like a positive kind of mental attitude to her, because the more Nikki says I'm a bad mum, the more she believes it, because she's convincing herself every single time she says it, and then she'll just start to feel that she is. It must also be quite hard if like Chris thinks that the way he does everything is perfect, because he's just going to look down on everything Nikki does, which again reinforces her own belief that she's not good enough. We then learn that when Chris gets angry, he just leaves the house, like he literally just goes on a drive somewhere.
I go for a drive to calm down, to get myself away from the situation, because I feel myself getting so angry and so frustrated and worked up. I'm scared of what I'm going to do.
And that again shows that, you know, possibly that's where Cameron possibly gets his anger from. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing from Chris. Like, it is a you know, an adult thing to do, to just take yourself out of the situation. But Nikki never does that. Like, obviously she couldn't do that, because then the kids would be in the house alone, and I don't know what it would be like if Cameron and Mackenzie were in the house alone, because later in this episode you're gonna see that when they're left alone, things don't end up that well. I say that well, they end up drastic, so stay tuned for that. Clearly at this point I think both of them just need Supernanny to kind of, you know, get them out of this rut and hopefully teach them some techniques. But at this point I'm unsure if they're actually gonna be together by the end of this episode. The show then progresses to the next day, where Nikki is just breaking down in tears because she's convinced that Cameron isn't going to be with her for much longer. She says like every single day he has a near-death experience, which, you know, I guess it's eventful and it keeps your mind busy, but not probably in a positive way. And you can tell at this point Supernanny realises that she's like in deep with this family.
They don't know whether to stay together as a couple. They don't know what to do with regards to Cameron's behaviour. They're desperate. They need help.
They're desperate. Yeah. They're really, really desperate. I mean, I think we figured that out when they were, broadcasting this to the entire nation in front of millions of people, love. I don't think they did this just to have a week out, just to be on telly. It'll be a laugh. Also, you've got to, have some sympathy for the next door neighbour. Like, imagine just hearing every day just... I do want to know why their back door is boarded up. I don't know if that's to keep people out or to keep Cameron in. Still not sure on that one. This is grim, but I remember the flat that I grew up in. It was a ground floor one, and like our back door was like withering away. It was like, I think it was like wood or something, but it was like the rain was like withering it away, and there was like a big hole at the bottom of it. And we used to wake up on a morning, and there would be like, this is grim, there'd be like 6 or 7 slugs just in the kitchen. And like when I was going for a piss, this is grim, but I'd be like, honestly, I felt like I was on Raven. That show that used to be on CBBC where they did the obstacle courses. I'd be like, Mom, this is just like the show. What? That just reminds us of that. Anyway, we got sidetracked there. Apologies. Supernanny now gets to work to try and turn this family around by the end of the episode. The first step she takes is to basically clear the air with Chris and Nikki that it's not their fault about what happened to Josh, their child that passed away. They need to stop taking responsibility for that. Like, that was a horrific occurrence, which isn't their fault, which definitely is a huge first step for them because that gets them out of that guilt mentality. She also establishes that Nikki needs to stop being scared to tell Cameron off. Like, it's fine. Like, you're his mom. You're allowed to discipline him. Jo also says that they need to stop treating Mackenzie's cot like a prison, like keeping him in there for 6+ hours a day because it's unfair. She also says to Chris that he needs to hold his temper and stop getting so angry, which I do agree with. He gets very angry very quickly. But the major positive, in my opinion, that comes out of this conversation is Nikki and Chris, for the first time in the episode, actually look like a couple. Like, they're sitting close together and they actually agree to give it one more shot at turning this family around and seeing if they can have a happy dynamic. And I feel like that's the main thing, right? Like, as long as they want to improve it. Like, if they don't want to improve it, that's where you've got the real issue, because they're not going to give it their all. So I feel like this is a really big step. They then get to work changing things. The first thing they do is get rid of the cot, so Mackenzie's just out in the open. I say out in the open as if, he's still in the Hunger Games with Cameron. He's a civilian, leave him! She also sets up a reward chart for Cameron where basically every single time he does something good, he gets to climb this mountain, and then at the top of the mountain, he gets a treat. However, things don't really start off that smooth. Just quickly, Donuts, we are on the hunt for 1 million subscribers, so if you haven't already, please do consider pressing the subscribe button. I know a lot of yous watch but haven't actually pressed it. If you press it, it takes 2 seconds, helps me out getting us to that 1 million donuts on this channel, and also it means that every single time I post a video, you will be recommended it. So thank you very much for doing that, Donuts, if you can.
If you want... Do not smack... Don't shout. Do not... Go away. Do not punch me.
Wait, did Supernanny just get him in some sort of like armbar there? She got him in the master lock. She literally went, right, come on then, come out of this, son. Go on. Bet you can't. Stupid child. Stupid...
Are you going to drink your drink? No. Are you going to drink your drink? Are you going to drink your drink?
Like, this is how he acts with a random stranger. Can you imagine what it's like when the cameras aren't there, when he's like fully just unleashed? It must be a living hell. No wonder Nikki doesn't want to wake up on a morning. I feel like Nikki needs to go to self-defense classes, I mean, that's probably not the first thing. Probably, just working on his behaviour would help.
Hit me. I'm putting it away myself.
What'd you just punch your mum for? She's not even got the drink. Nikki just catching strays. There you go, Supernanny. Bang on you, ma'am. Fuck yeah. We then see Supernanny trying to teach Nikki, but she is a little bit preoccupied still.
Because it's great for you to feel that, but what we're seeing here is an extreme case of a 4.5-year-old that's very angry.
Sorry. Why is she trying to have a conversation with her while Nikki's getting battered? She's like, yeah. Oh, yeah, you're so right, love. Cameron then doesn't stop there. He goes upstairs to cause even more havoc.
Surprised at the level of Cameron's aggression, Supernanny wants to discuss tactics with Nikki and Chris.
Sorry, He's upstairs, destroying the house. Are we just having like a little chat outside? Who's got Cameron? Has someone put him in a straitjacket? There's a child upstairs causing, a lot of harm. In this chat outside, Supernanny devises a new plan because she's tried to do her usual tactics and Cameron just isn't listening, like the going the naughty steps. And Cameron is just not having it, no matter how hard they try, which is mad because normally Supernanny just keeps at it, but for some reason, she's just quit straight away. Like, this shows that Cameron is like the next level of like, a badly behaved child. One step they are going to take is kind of ignoring him and distancing themselves from Cameron, like stop giving him the attention that he like really craves. And I know I've said this before, but honestly, like we're halfway through this episode nearly and there hasn't been like one smidge of an improvement. Usually we get the arc at this point. I can't see the arc coming, okay? Noah is in a storm and I cannot see the arc.
With the battle lines drawn, it's time to put the new plan into action.
Oh, fucking hell, man, don't you start. Fire alarm's trying to be the main character as well. Why is that going off? Even the fire alarm doesn't want to be in this house. He's like, I can't deal with this anymore, man. I'm just going to stop beeping just to piss people off even more. This house is so overstimulating. Like, I know that's such like a... Is that like a... That's a weird thing for me to say. But if I had to spend like 10 minutes in this house, I think I would actually just be like, I can't. Like, if there is a devil, he would reincarnate me and make me a fire alarm in this house. Talking about fire alarms, by the way, my fire alarm, like 2 days ago, just went off randomly, but there was no smoke. Like, there was nothing, and it just wouldn't stop. I was like, what the... Why am I telling you this? You don't care, do you? Do you care? Are you here for my issues? Are you? Are you really? Guys, honestly, the other day, I ate an apple. Who let me out? Is it evil to put a child in a straitjacket? Like, is that evil? That's frowned upon, right? I think it may actually be illegal. Not saying I would do. I'm just asking for a mate. Yeah. No, they can't. No, just answer your question. Yeah, no, they can't. I've asked, no. No, that wasn't me, obviously, guys.
2 years old is a time when a child recognises right from wrong. But at the time where they would have been doing all this naturally as parents, they were hit with the loss of a child.
That is what makes it so much deeper, because it's just it's so much more of a deeper scenario than any other Supernanny episode we've ever covered. I remember the Megan episode, like, people loved that video that we did. She was just funny. Like, she was just funny and she was sarcastic. She didn't want to listen to anyone. There wasn't really a deeper thing behind it. She just kind of wanted to seem cool and be a bit naughty. This, I don't even think Cameron wants to be naughty. It's just how he feels. At this point, I am debating if, like, Supernanny has got any other tricks up her sleeve. Like, she needs to pull all the cards out here. Like, I don't know, like even inviting a priest round with a cross and just being like, just a test. Right, just seeing if any, demons are at play here. Just bring the holy water and just see what happens, all right? That would be a great story for a TikTok one day for Cameron if he wants, like, a banging TikTok. Like, oh, yeah, POV, your mum and dad, like, got a priest round and exercised you. Just to test. Anyone else, or is that a unique experience? Get a few podcasts out of that. There you go. Sorted. The trauma was worth it. I know I keep saying this, but Cameron keeps getting worse as the episode goes on. Cameron is becoming so aggressive at this point that Supernanny actually resorts to teaching Nikki some self-defense. Like, I've never seen this in a Supernanny episode ever. The fire is out of control at this point and they're just trying to, like, contain it.
Show me what you do. Exactly. Move my arm. Move my arm. No, seriously, move my arm.
I'm just thinking of that scene from Step Brothers, where, like, the successful brother comes to visit them and he's like, you want to punch me in the face right now? Punch me in the face! Now, 2 hours later, they're still trying to ignore Cameron, and Cameron, like, sees that his aggressive behaviour is no longer getting the attention that he craves. So he resorts to crying, and it's just so interesting because he's being, like, really manipulative here. Nikki actually finds it harder to ignore his crying than she does his hitting, because with his hitting, it's like, oh, he's being aggressive, I can ignore him. But, like, she's, like, so clearly a mother at heart because she sees her child crying, and she's struggling so much to not just, like, smother him because she wants to protect him. But it is just so interesting because obviously, like, babies manipulate you because they need to stay alive. Like, they know that they need fed and whatever, so they manipulate you. I say manipulate you. They know how to get you to feed them. But it's just interesting that Cameron, should be out of this now as like a 2.5-year-old, nearly 3. But he's not.
Because what he's doing to you right now is that. He's niggling you like that.
I know I say this in a lot of videos, but I'm not going to diagnose a child with anything. But, you know, there's always the possibility that something else is going on here. That, you know, it's never talked about in these episodes. It's always just put down to, you know, trauma, bad behaviour, which it very much could be in this scenario. But the more you're seeing, the more you're like, you know, this just isn't normal behaviour from a child. This carries on for another 4 hours. Like, bearing in mind it's been going on for hours at this point. Another 4 hours later, and both Chris and Nikki are really struggling to ignore him now. And I definitely think they're losing faith in Supernanny, as, you know, she hasn't, like, showed any glimpse of hope for them. No wonder you would lose faith in her tactics at this point.
You're here, he's not as normal.
No, he will be. Trust me. I know you can do this.
I actually got like a chill there. Like, the amount of pain that this woman is in, like, that I just got a chill through my body. What the hell? I do think it's sad that Chris just leaves the house, especially at the, like, most, you know, intense parts, because Nikki's kind of just left by herself and she seems kind of helpless. We never see Nikki, like, take herself out of the situation ever. However, another 2 hours goes by and we actually see our first glimmer of hope as Cameron apologises to Nikki for the first time since filming started.
He's not happy with that.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Today, your behaviour was very naughty.
Just say it how it is. Cameron, today, you were a bellend, son. You were a big bellend. Alright? You've ruined my day, you've ruined your mum's day, and you've ruined your own day. I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed, son. Say it how it is, Supernanny. Hit them where it hurts. Sorry, no. She knows better than me, she's the expert.
What's good behaviour?
Being kind.
Yeah, being kind. Was you being kind today? What did you do that wasn't kind?
2 secs, let me get my list. When I spat, wasn't me finest hour. When I spat the second time. When I spat the 57th time, probably should have stopped there. I didn't. When I whacked my mum in the face, that wasn't cool from me. When I tried to hit my mum with the table, again, right? Probably not something that people would like to see. And that's just the first of it. Now, this is the first breakthrough, which does give me hope for the next day. Like, we've seen that Cameron can recognise that he's being naughty, which I didn't think was possible at the start of the day. So it's a positive. The show then progresses to the next day, and Supernanny is realising that Chris is just getting angry with Cameron all the time. So she sets up a drill for Chris to do whenever he starts to feel a little bit overwhelmed. Just quickly, by the way, if you haven't already, please do press a like on this video. Apparently it helps us out. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I'd appreciate it.
The idea is that you do this a couple of times to cool off out here, because at the moment we've got like 2 balls bashing heads.
Can you imagine, you know, you come round to their house like you're a friend of Chris or a friend of Nikki. You're just like, Nikki? Why is Chris doing laps of the garden while he's like tutting? Is he alright? Oh yeah, don't worry, that's just his drill he does. Alright. Just fucking stupid Cameron. Fucking I'll spit on him, the little prick. It's so funny because Cameron doesn't realise what's going on, so he then comes out with his dad to walk with him, not knowing that the reason why his dad is walking is because of him. The show's moving at such a fast pace at this point. They then proceed to the day after this, and Supernanny is trying to provide Nikki with some techniques she can use to establish some authority over Cameron, but it's not quite working.
Look at him and say to him, here are your crisps.
Here are your crisps. Here are your crisps.
It's how hard he hits her. Like, hitting in anything's bad, but it's the fact he just really whacks her. Like, he goes for it with all the venom in his soul. And although we've had glimpses of good things, like him saying sorry, things aren't really changing, in my opinion.
Don't stand there to take a beating, girl. Get out the corner.
What? That's literally one of the first things they teach you in boxing when you start sparring. They're like, don't stay in the corner and get beat up, keep moving around. What is this? Don't let him box you in. Don't let him box you in, Nikki. Right, get out the corner, get out the corner. We're like 5 days in at this point, by the way. Like, she's only got a week to try and solve this. I don't know how it's going to go in the last 2 days, but I really hope that they don't kind of play the fact that, oh, you know, he just suddenly changed and then they were really happy. I want to see the actual steps that have been took to actually improve this. I do wonder as well, you know, when the cameras aren't on, you know, when they haven't started rolling yet, or, you know, they're changing the batteries, if Supernanny just gives Cameron like a sly one, just like, oh yeah, come in the sitting room, Cameron, bang, fucking, oh, what? He's on the floor, is he? Oh, he's asleep, alright, he must be tired. Again, guys, all a joke, don't do that to children. They're children, they can't help it. Okay. Especially children that are dealing with trauma, not a good thing to elbow them. Just escalate things, right? Just, you know, not a healthy method to cope. I would never say that. Okay, wouldn't come out of my lips. It is hard to work out who is like the root of the problem at this point. One thing I will say is Nikki just can't stand up for herself no matter how hard she tries.
Because you're going to have to deal with that when Chris is at work. Move your arm like this, arm away, and walk, shoulders up.
Oh, mate, like, where? Sorry. You know, whenever I get a little bit angry, Geordie language comes out, like, mate, give it a break. Like, just stop slapping your mum for a couple of minutes, will you? Oh, we're all tired. You're not even wanting anything here. You're just doing it for the crack at this point, just... I'd just be giving him hackies. I'd be like, what you doing? You're embarrassing, you, like, what, hitting your ma constantly? Oh, it's embarrassing that, like, wouldn't be me. Oh, I'm going to tell all your mates you hit your mum. The thing is as well, like, this lasts for hours. It's not just, you know, for 10 minutes here or there. It's full on, and it doesn't stop. I feel like I'm saying the same things as the week progresses. It's not changing. Is she trying to hoover him up? God, these Supernanny tactics are really going rogue. Hoovering up children? That can't work, surely.
Move, don't sit there and look at him.
See, right, he's wearing a football top. He's acting like a footballer now, you know, when you do this to a footballer and they're like, jumping on the floor. Ref, sub, get him off. Cameron's done. But at this point, after Cameron, like, fakes this injury to get attention, he starts to realise that Nikki isn't, you know, giving him the attention that she once did. One thing I will say about Nikki is she is relentless. Like, she's so strong. She really is trying and she doesn't ever give up. We've seen in other Supernanny episodes we've done that the parents kind of give up halfway through. Nikki definitely isn't. And that's one thing I will give her huge credit for. Like, this woman is so strong. Cameron then kind of just goes and hides and chills out, and then he actually comes up to his mum and apologises, like, nicely. Damn puberty.
When you're angry and you're hitting and kicking Mummy doesn't want to talk to you and to hug and to kiss you.
It will be interesting to hear your thoughts in the comments. Like, I love reading them after, like, a kind of deeper video like this. How do you feel about this? Like, how does this make you feel, like, the way that Cameron acts? Do you feel sorry for Cameron after what, you know, he's been through? Or do you think, you know, like, somehow he needs to take more responsibility? Do you think Nikki needs to... Like, let me know your thoughts on this, because genuinely I love hearing everyone's perspectives on this, because I'm not saying my perspective's the right perspective. I just attempt to try and see it from everyone's point of view in the situation. But Cameron keeps on apologising, and this time it does seem different. It does seem like he means it, like he genuinely is putting emotion into this. He's not doing it because he has to. And even Chris says today, like, he's really happy with the progress they've made. Like, there seems like there's light at the end of the tunnel today.
Tantrum this morning lasted for an hour and a half rather than for sort of like four and a bit hours.
That's progress! Cameron only got 1,000 digs in today, not 10,000, so I'll put a check on this being a successful day.
Cameron, can you pass me the ball, please?
Go up higher. Cameron.
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 No.
I don't like this. Can you stop saying my name, please? It's making me uncomfortable. Stop it. That was uncomfortable. I felt really uncomfortable there. That's what you should do, by the way. If you ever see me in the street and you want to annoy us, just keep saying my name over and over and don't stop. That'll achieve it. Okay, quick point for you guys. Now, weirdly, it does seem like the family are making a lot of progress now, but it kind of seems very abrupt. Like, it seems like, you know, it happened within the space of a couple of hours that Cameron's behaviour seems to have improved, but I know that can happen when they have, like, a mental shift. And at this point, Joe thinks that the family is ready for a trip to the park. Now, they never usually do this because of Cameron's behaviour, like, especially being out in public. It's just a lot more overwhelming for them. Especially, like, the last time we saw Cameron outside of the house, he almost died. This is big. If this goes well, this is such a good place to build some momentum off.
Slow down a little bit for me, please, Cameron, because we're coming up to the road now.
Good boy.
It's a breakthrough as Cameron listens to his parents.
And it is sad because as horrible as he has been in this episode, he is just a child and he's been through a very traumatic event in his life and he doesn't understand why he's so angry, doesn't understand why he's acting this way, but he is only 2.5 years old. Like, that is the saddest thing about this. Like, even though he's so naughty and so, you know, aggressive, he is still so innocent. After this park trip, even Joe, Supernanny, says that she feels so relieved because if this went bad, she doesn't know where she would have went from here. And it's so weird to see Supernanny kind of a little bit out of her depth as well. Normally she has an answer to everything. In this episode, she definitely hasn't. And I definitely think this makes the episode a lot more like layered because even she's learning on the job here. Now, because Cameron behaves so well, when he gets home, he's like climbing up his reward ladder so he can actually get a reward now because he's done a few more steps. And as a reward, Chris buys him a football and he plays in the garden with him. And at this point, I'm like, okay, like they can end the episode here. This is a good, like, cyclical kind of storyline. They've improved his life. However, things crash down worse than ever. Wish I was kidding.
But it's not all plain sailing.
Excuse me, you do not hit.
I actually think that's the worst part of the episode because, like, he's been left alone with his baby brother there, and, you know, that was a hard hit on a baby. 15-month-old baby. I know this sounds horrible to say, but I don't think I would feel comfortable leaving Cameron alone with the Mackenzie. I just wouldn't feel comfortable. Like, the fact that they were in the room, and there was a cameraman there as well, so imagine when no one's there. This would scare me. Like, this is the worst part of the show, in my opinion, the most disturbing bit. And what surprises me the most is the narrator and the producers kind of just glaze over this as if it's just like a minor speed bump.
Very naughty behaviour.
But overall, Cameron's behaviour is much improved.
Oh, well, that's all right then. As long as he's cleaning up the dust. We'll just glaze over the fact that he's just, slapped his brother full force. Just that minor thing. Everything's good though, innit? And this is the issue I have with this episode, because it's like they're so obsessed with having a happy ending that they'll just kind of, drive the narrative in a way that it isn't actually fitting. Like, in my opinion, you can't just glaze over what just happened there. But if they have to do another rebuild in the storyline of the episode, they might think that it's not as watchable. I don't know. They do go on to show Cameron and his brother playing a lot, which is good, but I just really feel like that shouldn't have been glazed over what we just seen. The fact they don't even tell the parents, are you going to tell Nikki that Cameron just slapped a baby son? Nah, just gonna glaze over that. Yeah. Oh, they'll be fine, right? They'll be all right. He probably deserved it. Probably something he said. I do get the impression that Supernanny is kind of leaving now. Like, this is like her chance to be like, okay, I left them in a good place. I did my job. Now Supernanny is actually leaving at this point, and I'm unsure how the family is going to cope without her. She was heavily involved in a lot of the steps, and a lot of the steps, Nikki kind of bowed out and Supernanny took over. So I don't know how it's going to go. I'm not confident though. I will say that. After Joe does leave, it takes less than 24 hours for Cameron to revert back to how he was.
I'm not having you wasting my time anymore.
I love how she's just walking off. She's like, you know what? Nah, we tried, Supernanny. It failed. We tried. Chris, we tried. But nah. Find your own way home, son. If you don't, not my issue. She's just walking off so nonchalantly with her hands in her pockets. Like, that's not my child. Child? Which child? They also show a clip of Nicky taking Cameron to the park, and he does play nice, but when it's time to leave, he just isn't having it or listening to his mum. And when they get home, Nicky and Chris start to fall out as well. And in the days after this, Cameron's behaviour gets even worse than what we've just seen there. But apparently, in the last couple of days before Supernanny's scheduled to come back, Cameron's behaviour, drastically improves, and he's moving up his, reward mountain, and he seems to be doing a lot better. Again, we don't get to see the transition. It's very abrupt, so it's like you just have to take their word for it, basically. There's no real evidence that he is actually being good. Supernanny then returns to review their progress, and she does give them valid criticism on a lot of various things that they could improve on when she was away. But overall, Supernanny says she's really happy with the progress, and again, I'm like, well, there's still so much. Are they really left in a positive position here? Clearly they must be, because everyone seems to be happy at this point. I think because it was so bad before, if it's just, okay or a little bit bad now, it's still a lot of improvement, so they're just kind of looking at, at half glass full.
Yesterday I had a meeting with the nursery. Cameron can keep his place because his behaviour has been such a dramatic improvement.
Get in! See, that's actual evidence that his behaviour has improved. Also, that's a great thing, he's no longer expelled from nursery. Maybe it was a good idea to come on this show. Maybe Cameron has got a little bit of a reputation, and this is him kind of, rebuilding his career again in nursery. I can't imagine what it must be like for, the teachers at nursery had to have dealt with him prior to, his behavioural change. Even, understanding his circumstances and what he's been through. And just before Supernanny leaves for good, she actually goes on a walk with Nicky and Cameron, the same walk that they did where Cameron almost, got flattened by that truck at the start. And Cameron's so much better on this walk. He's even holding his baby brother's hand, which is really nice because it shows he's actually being a really sweet big brother and not, slapping him in the face full force.
Oh, look, Mackenzie said, my big brother, he walks me home. Oh, drastic changing.
And it does show that he is caring, because even when his brother fell over there, he, like, you know, just waited for him and was like, oh, you'll be all right. And then, like, they're just walking again. Like, shows he has got a big heart. And he's got a lot of love. They just kind of need to unlock that, bless him. Now, before Supernanny leaves for good, she actually has a parting gift for the family, and it's really emotional.
A secret garden dedicated to Josh.
Oh, so is this our own little magic garden and we can put whatever we like? Got a special tree to remember Josh.
Fuck. No. You can't say a magic tree to remember George. That's... No. That's so nice. Oh, my God. Oh. A magic tree. This might actually really help them in terms of, you know, coming to terms with what they've been through, especially if they can kind of, you know, go through this as a family and stand around it as a family and just, you know, all be there for each other and realise, like, we don't need to fight with each other, like, we can actually, like, lean on each other and, you know, you're all there for each other, you can talk and, like, build that kind of relationship. This might be a really, really important thing that Supernanny's actually left them with here. After this, she then leaves and we get, like, a short-term update a month later to see how the family are getting on, and it's actually really, really positive. And I definitely think, like, this garden and the little work that Supernanny did right at the end of this episode has led them to having a positive experience once she's left for good.
Cameron is completely different. He's lost all the aggressiveness and destructiveness.
Okay, now I'm happy that it's got a happy ending because I can actually see how this has occurred now. This is so nice. I'm just so happy for them, and I'm so happy for this child because, you know, this mustn't have been a nice existence for anybody. The fact that they've been able to process this trauma in the family and turn it into a positive thing, and they can remember, you know, that the Josh is like a positive thing in their life, and they've been so grateful they've had the time to spend with Josh, not like look at it as a negative thing, which obviously I don't want to, you know, say it's not, but I just like the way that they've flipped it. That's so nice, and you know, that's the only thing you can kind of do, I guess, you know, when something traumatic like that happens. It's just how you kind of move forward and how you like live with that in your life, and clearly this family is doing that, and it's just so nice that they're there for each other. This was so emotional, genuinely. It's been one of the hardest episodes to cover because there's been so many emotions. I feel like it's been like a roller coaster. There's been funny, aggressive, angry, sad. It's had everything, but hopefully you have enjoyed it. I did try and find an update on this family. There's no relevant information to where Cameron is today. I believe he's probably, you know, they're called the Smith-Clark family. I think he has actually changed his surname because I genuinely couldn't find anything for Smith-Clark. A lot of the kids do that. I can't imagine what this episode must be like for Cameron now he's probably an adult. It must be very difficult to kind of see yourself like this and people having, you know, negative opinions on yourself. So no wonder he wants to detach himself away from it. And regarding the parents, there's no like reliable information out there. There's a couple of like theories on Reddit, but I don't like mentioning an update unless I have like, you know, credible information that actually, you know, says what is actually happening, because I don't want to, you know, throw conspiracies or anything out there, because these are real people at the end of the day, especially if they're trying to detach themselves. I don't kind of want to, you know, bring all that back up. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, Donut. If you want me to continue this Supernanny series, 10,000 likes on this video. We've actually done like 4 or 5 now. If you want to watch the wildest episodes that Supernanny has ever created, go on a binge watch. Okay, this will take you through all the videos. That's your night sorted. You get to spend it with me. Is there anything worse? Probably not. See you in the next one, Donuts, okay? Thanks for watching again.